Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews, and in this video we're going to be talking about accents, all about accents, what they are, what they're not, how to play them, how to practice them, and further resources you can use to build your ability to play beautiful accents in your classical guitar music. So let's get started. So to begin with, what is an accent? An accent is a note that stands out from the notes around it. It just like an accent lamp is just something that kind of pulls the eye in home furnishings, or an accent wall is a wall that's a different color. It's the same exact thing with music. The most common accent is to make the note louder, but you can also accent by making a note quieter. Just as in a speech, somebody might get very quiet to accent a particular idea. So then that way, the actual quietness brings attention to that. Another way is to change the timing or the duration of the note. So there are these different types of accents. The most common, and the one that we're going to be talking about here, is just making the note louder and stand up by way of making it louder. So then, first off, in your music, this is what an accent looks like generally. The little notch, boom, boom, over a note. And so this is the note that you'll want to make louder. Well then, how do you do that? You just play it louder. Here's the ticket. Here is the key, crucial ingredient with all accents. It's not so much that you make that note louder, which you do a little bit, but it's very easy to overdrive the guitar. It's very easy to get too loud to where it just doesn't sound good. I won't do it for you. The way to do accents is to make the notes around it quieter. And this is a little bit counterintuitive. So instead of making this note louder, instead make this note quieter. And the note right before it, make that note quieter. So here's an accent right here. That means that you might make this note a little quieter and this note a little quieter, and then it stands out by merit of being louder than the notes around it. So while you might not bring it and play it at an absolute pianissimo, super quiet, you might still just back off just a little bit so that your accent then has more contrast to the others. The most important note when playing accents is the note right after the accent, because that's the note that will oftentimes, you have this particular tension and tonus in your fingers. Well, it's very easy for that amount of tension to transfer over into the next note, especially if you're playing at a fast clip. Then it will also be accented, which takes the energy from your accented note and it accents an unaccented note. So then one of the ways to practice this would be to just practice two notes in each of the different finger combinations. And if you're a member of the Woodshed, then we actually go through this moment by moment and practice along with this. Then you can have, for instance, the top line here is MI. You would have an M loud and then an I quiet. And so you would just practice loud, soft, and then do it with IM, and IM. And the focus being as much contrast between the two as you can possibly muster. So you have very loud and then very soft. Very loud, just a whisper. In your actual playing, in your actual pieces, you might not have it that much of a contrast, but you might. But in practice, if you're going to specifically practice accents, then specifically practice accents and really increase the exaggeration between the two levels of sound. Now, when you're also practicing accents, you're going to find these in your music in all kind of different combinations. And so you can use your accent practice. You can practice accent specifically just on one string. I typically recommend, if you're doing anything on just one string, use the B string, because it just improves your precision as well on the instrument, because the E string, it's very easy to just swipe at it, but the B, you actually have to then miss the E string. So if you're going to use one string, use the B string. So then you can do these exercises like this, which is accented note, 3 unaccented notes, and you just repeat it. So here this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. As you get faster, there will be some particular speed where it gets really difficult. There is a point where we all break down with speed, right? Even the fastest player in the world has that point. So you want to practice first very slowly and get it really exaggerated, and then start upping the speed so that it's more something that you can use on cue. I'd like to mention another use of accent practice as well, and that is to even out your playing. If you have more control over each finger and the level of sound of each finger, then you'll just have overall more control. One of a good exercise for smoothing out your A, M, and I is this one right here, this number 9 on this sheet, and you can download this sheet for free at the link below. Then what we have here is A, M, I, in a pattern of 3, A, M, I, and then we're in 4/4 time. Well, then we have a different finger playing the accent every time. So the first accent is A, the second one is M, the last one's I, and then it repeats. And so it ends up being like this. A, M, I, A, M, I, A, M, I, A, M, I. So with practice, then you can get much more control over your right hand. Accents are amazingly powerful for building control and precision in your playing. Of course, quick tips, always use your good technique. Use your hands closing as your basic movement. Keep your tip joints soft as you're playing, and really pay attention to the note after the accent. All right, have fun. See you soon.